What's up, YouTube fam? It's your girl, Mrs. Tony Two Times, and I'm back with another video. In this episode of Hood Tales, I will tell the story about the disappearance of Morgan Martin and the person who was ultimately found to be responsible after the case went cold. Before we get into this video, welcome if you're new here to our channel. Please don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to get notified every time we upload. If you're rocking with the content, smash that like button. Feel free to share this video with everyone you know. Make sure you watch until the end to hear the full story. Alright, let's get right into it. In St. Petersburg, Florida, just after midnight, 17-year-old Morgan Martin told her mother and sister that she was stepping outside to talk to the man she said was the father of her unborn child. Morgan was 4 months pregnant and had just found out she was having a girl. She had picked out the name Jalea Raquel. According to reports, the man who Morgan said fathered her child was 24-year-old Jacoby Flowers. Megan had told her mother that he had contacted her and wanted to come by and talk to her. News reports revealed that Morgan's mother, Leah Martin, had advised her daughter to have nothing to do with him because she was a minor and he would go to jail if he gets caught. Morgan assured her mom that she was just going to go talk to him. Morgan left the house wearing her pajamas, just taking her cell phone. She told her sister not to lock the door because she would be right back. That was the last time she was seen by her family. At around 5 a.m., Morgan's mom noticed that her daughter's room lights and air conditioning was still on. She assumed that her daughter was inside. After the family didn't see her for most of that day, and she didn't respond to Facebook messages and phone messages, Morgan's mom and sister reported her missing to authorities. Because Morgan had not taken anything with her and was wearing just her pajamas and fuzzy pink slippers, officials said they believed that it wasn't a runaway and not a normal set of circumstances. Morgan's mother told reporters that her daughter had ran away before, but she had returned soon after. Morgan had also abruptly stopped communicating with her friends. She also didn't take her purse, ID, or maternity paperwork like her first ultrasound photos. 10 days after her disappearance, Morgan's mother and family was distraught that she had been missing for that long. At the time, her mother assumed the worst because Morgan was a family-oriented person. During that time, police stated that they had interviewed the man Morgan said was the father of her child. Police had also taken DNA from Morgan's family members and planned on returning to gather more evidence. After several months of investigation and searches, Morgan had not been found, and the case grew cold. When Morgan first went missing and the months following, there was speculation and suspicion around the man who was supposed to be the father of Morgan's baby, Jacoby Flowers. According to his Facebook page, Jacoby is a graduate of Boca Ciega High School. It also said he was a student at St. Petersburg College, where he studied architecture. He's a native of St. Petersburg and lived in Tampa. A tweet from a local news station in January 2013 said Jacoby Flowers was highly cooperative with investigators. He denied any involvement in Morgan's disappearance and minimized his relationship with her. However, those close to Morgan felt he had something to do with her disappearance. Investigators sought out any other potential persons who might have been connected to Morgan's disappearance, but everything continued to point toward Jacoby Flowers as the only person of interest. A year after Morgan went missing, Morgan's mom reignited the search for her daughter. New missing persons posters were posted up by family members and law enforcement on the anniversary of Morgan's disappearance. Her mother told ABC News that she knew her daughter was somewhere, but she did not believe that she was alive. She said she knew her daughter and that Morgan would have contacted someone by then. Morgan's case was transferred over to homicide, although there was no evidence of murder. The news report also revealed that Morgan's phone last pinged in Hudson, which is about an hour or so away from St. Petersburg. At the end of the interview, Morgan's mother lamented on the fact that she had the right to give her daughter, an unborn grandchild, a proper burial, and that's all she wanted. In March of 2015, almost 3 years after Morgan vanished from her home in St. Petersburg, Florida, the local police department had a newly created cold case unit, and they worked on Morgan's case again. The ATF also assigned an intelligence research specialist to assist the detectives on the case, along with other experts. A few months later, in July 2015, ABC Tampa aired an exclusive interview with Jacoby Flowers, who was named as a person of interest in Morgan's case. In the interview, Jacoby Flowers said that he was not the father of Morgan's baby, and they were not in an intimate relationship. He said that he knew Morgan from around his neighborhood and that the last time he saw her was months before she vanished. When Jacoby was asked why Morgan and her family would make up the two of them were in a relationship, he said, "I have no idea. I don't know if that is something she could have said. I mean, she's obviously younger than me. Women lie about certain things at different times for many different reasons." Then he said of local police, "I feel like this is a situation where they need somebody to blame, and right now, I'm that person to blame." Jacoby also highlighted the lack of evidence against him, saying, "I feel like nobody can prove this. There are no eyewitnesses. Anybody can make up a story that doesn't necessarily make it true. I have nothing to hide." However, the police chief told the news station that Jacoby Flowers was clearly the last person to see Morgan alive. During that same interview, Jacoby continued on to say, "I've never been a bad person. I've been arrested before. I've committed some stupid mistakes, like driving or fleeing and eluding, that type stuff. But I'm not a monster. I don't have any violent charges." Ironically, the same station would report in August 2015 that Jacoby Flowers had been arrested on charges of fleeing and eluding, driving on a suspended license, and violating parole. In June of 2016, a grand jury returned an indictment charging Jacoby Flowers with first-degree hit of Morgan Martin. Jacoby was still in jail after being sentenced for the crimes he committed in August 2015. He was to be transferred to the Pinellas County Jail to face the hit charges. In a news conference to announce the indictment, police said Jacoby Flowers planned Morgan's slaying and disposed of her body. According to the June 2016 news release, cold case detectives spent 13 months re-interviewing witnesses. They located and spoke with new witnesses, re-examined evidence, collected new evidence, analyzed data, and sought the assistance of experts to help them crack the case. The detectives also requested 21 subpoenas, 9 search warrants, and 10 court orders as a part of the investigation. Detectives traveled extensively throughout Florida and to Alabama following leads in Morgan's disappearance. A week later, officials released a 33-page indictment for Morgan's case where Jacoby Flowers had been charged with the hit. According to the indictment, Jacoby Flowers begged Morgan not to go through with the pregnancy, stating he already had other children he was supporting. According to court records, he texted, "You have your whole life for this. Don't do this to me." Police say Jacoby Flowers also acknowledged in text messages that he had intimate relations with the 17-year-old on several occasions. The indictment has revealed that Jacoby Flowers was worried about facing criminal charges for having relations with a minor, and about ruining his relationship with his current girlfriend at the time. The indictment also revealed Facebook messages that reportedly show Morgan threatening Jacoby to pay child support and step up as a father, or else she'd call police and report him. The Facebook messages also contained a picture of an ultrasound, along with Morgan telling Jacoby that she was having a girl and what her name was going to be. At one point, police said he offered a former classmate money to beat Morgan up. According to court records, Morgan texted him on May 18, 2012, asking him to stay with her. She texted, "Please, Kobe, just consider it. I love you." He replied, "There's nothing to consider. This will show how much you love me, because I'm telling you, if you only think about you in this, we'll never be the same." The indictment reveals more details about what investigators believe happened that night. Morgan left her house to talk to Jacoby, who had worked a closing shift earlier at a KFC. The two had exchanged calls that evening. Jacoby used a new secondary cell phone he had bought a couple of weeks before. He made his first call from the phone to Morgan at 9:03 p.m. on July 24th. Hours later, Morgan's cell phone was turned off shortly after she left her house. Detectives reviewed cell phone tower records to estimate Jacoby Flowers' location. He went from the area around Morgan's house to his own home on 53rd Avenue North before moving about at 1:20 a.m. toward the restaurant where he worked. Jacoby Flowers had been charged for setting the alarm at the restaurant after closing that day. He had always remembered to turn it on, co-workers said, but he failed to do so that night. Surveillance footage showed smoke inside the restaurant at 2:33 a.m. The next day, an employee discovered that someone had set a fire in a walk-in cooler, then used a hose to wash the floor. Detectives said surveillance footage showed Jacoby was at the restaurant at 2:49 a.m. 3:30 a.m., Jacoby went to St. Petersburg again, detectives said, visiting the mother of his two children. She told investigators that the only reason he would talk to her was to loan him her car or money. Jacoby then returned to the area of the KFC at 4:39 a.m. He later went to Pasco County, where his phone last pinged before being shut off. He then drove back through Brandon, where his phone was reactivated at 8:27 a.m. He used the Sunshine Sky Bridge, where surveillance footage showed Jacoby traveling southbound at 8:48 a.m. before returning home to St. Petersburg the next morning. At 10:49 a.m., the number to Jacoby's phone was requested to be changed. Police noted Jacoby and his current girlfriend at the time, who share a child together, both had access to the account. According to the indictment, when Jacoby was questioned about the Facebook messages with Morgan discussing the pregnancy, He alleged that they were playing make-believe. On July 30th, detectives went to Jacoby's home to conduct another interview. Detectives say Jacoby again denied having relations with Morgan and admitted he defriended her on Facebook because Morgan kept telling him she was pregnant with his child. A search of Jacoby's Lexus revealed the trunk mat was missing, and the trunk was free of dirt, leaves, or bits of debris, detectives said. According to Jacoby, he bought the car without a trunk mat. However, a previous police investigation involving Jacoby in 2011 yielded pictures of the Lexus, officials said. In those photos, a trunk mat is visible. Police spoke to the car's previous owner, who reportedly said he sold the car with the trunk mat. Next, detectives interviewed Jacoby's then current girlfriend. The girlfriend told investigators she got off work at midnight, and when she arrived home, Jacoby was there. She claimed she sent him to McDonald's to get food, and he did so, and did not go out again that night, the indictment states. However, police reviewed videotape from the McDonald's drive-thru and say neither Jacoby nor his Lexus ever appeared on tape during that time frame. According to the indictment, Jacoby's timeline of events was filled with many inconsistencies. For example, in a third interview, Jacoby changed his story and said he went to a nightclub and did not return until 3:30 a.m. According to police, cell phone records show Jacoby and his girlfriend were not in the same vicinity during the time of Morgan's disappearance. Phone records reportedly showed the girlfriend made 8 phone calls to Jacoby that went unanswered between 1:28 a.m. and 8:29 a.m. on July 25, 2012. Police said a friend of the girlfriend also came forward, alleging that the girlfriend confided in her that Jacoby Flowers asked her to lie about his whereabouts at the time Morgan went missing. Investigators say Jacoby texted his girlfriend at 9:13 p.m. stating, "Small issue, gotta get the girls for like an hour. Sorry, short notice." 10 minutes prior to that message, detectives say phone records show Jacoby called Morgan. With all the technological and electronic evidence in this case, no DNA evidence was cited in the indictment, nor was how Morgan was slain. Her body had still not been found. According to a news report in 2019, 31-year-old Jacoby Flowers maintained his innocence, pleading not guilty to the first-degree hit charges. His attorney declined to comment on his client's behalf at that time. He remained in jail while he awaited trial. His trial was set for November of that year. However, it was subsequently postponed. Morgan's body had still not been found. On March 31st, 2022, Jacoby Flowers pleaded guilty to second-degree hit. As a part of the agreement, he was supposed to serve 25 years in prison if authorities found Morgan's remains, or 40 years if her remains were not found. After pleading guilty to the second-degree hit, he told police that they could find Morgan's remains in a field in Pike County, Alabama. Detectives searched a cotton field by the side of a highway on a 50-acre farm. At that point, detectives said they just wanted to bring closure to the family by finding her remains. But sadly, after days of searching, nothing was found. Jacoby's sentencing would take place the following month. On April 28, 2022, there was still no reports that Morgan's remains were found. even after officials took Jacoby to Pike County, Alabama to assist with the search. He was scheduled for sentencing later that day. In court, Morgan's mother and a close family friend provided victim impact statements to the judge. They remembered Morgan as someone who always wanted to make people smile. Morgan's mother said, "I would have been a grandma. She would have been a great mom." Jacoby Flowers said in court he was sorry for his actions, but Morgan's mother said she doesn't believe him, nor does she forgive him. Emotions ran high from Morgan and Jacoby's family during court. The judge at the time warned family members in attendance to maintain order or risk being thrown out. The judge sentenced Jacoby Flowers to 40 years in prison. Morgan's mother, Leah, told Jacoby, "You took your own child's life and my child. 40 years wasn't enough, but then again, 1,000,000 years wouldn't have been enough for me." At the time, family members of Morgan said they were not surprised that her body did not turn up during a search in Alabama. Morgan's mother said Jacoby Flowers can't be trusted, and she doesn't believe her daughter's remains are in Alabama. Y'all, this was such a heartbreaking story. Thank you all for making that this far. I send my prayers and deepest condolences to Morgan Martin's family and loved ones. Morgan would have been 27 and her daughter Jalea would have been 10 years old. According to her mother, despite Morgan's young age, she was looking forward to being a mother. And she believes that her daughter was so adamant about the relationship her unborn child would have with their father because Morgan did not have a father growing up, so she wanted things to be different for her own daughter. It's so sad that this young lady is gone in such a horrific way, with still so many unanswered questions. My opinion is that Jacoby Flowers knew where he took Morgan's body and is not revealing it for the sake of remaining in control. I'm not sure why after all these years he would plead guilty and not reveal Morgan's whereabouts, unless her body was discarded in a way where it won't be found or can't be found. I believe this man had narcissistic tendencies and lost it when his control was threatened. His news interview and all was just very cringe to me. This young mother did not deserve to be taken like this. It's just terrible. Tell me in the comments below what you think of this story, fam. I would love to hear your thoughts. All right, y'all. That's it for this episode of Hood Tales. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This is your girl, Mrs. Tony 2 Times, and I'm out.